It's that time of the year. Nike have dropped a new boot for us, and in today's video, I'll tell you everything you need to know about the Phantom GT. If you've missed the Hypervenom Phantom 1 and your biggest dream is for that boot to return, well, today is as close as you'll get to having your lucky day. Because let me put it like this, whether it's the low or the high cut version, the Phantom GT is probably the best non-mercurial boot Nike has made since at least 2013. And yet, there are a couple of hiccups that you need to know about. The Phantom GT is built on the same last as the Hypervenom 1, with a Flyknit upper and thin silicone coating to give you the ultimate barefoot-like experience. And right off the bat, the fit is fantastic and really makes you feel like you're wearing a knitted version of the Hypervenom 1. And actually, it's a bit like putting on a driver's glove, where you get that sculpted and snug and skin-tight fit, where it sits close enough to feel ever-present, but also is free enough to never be uncomfortable. And the Phantom GT upper is a little bit like that, where the Flyknit follows the foot very well, and you get that slightly stretchy and elasticated sensation, meaning that it follows every little contour of your foot shape. And because the boot is so soft, you genuinely don't get any discomfort or real pressure points, even if you're like me and you pull the laces really tight. And that is a great sensation. But to get that tightness, I actually had to go down half a size compared to all the other Nike boots, which actually never happens. And that's because even though it's built on the same last or the same foot shape as the Phantom VSN2 and the Phantom Venom, the Phantom GT here runs a little bit big, and because the boot is also really wide, there should be plenty of wiggle room for you to feel comfortable, even if you have ginormous feet. That, however, also meant that I had a bit of extra room in the midfoot, and because Nike have no flywire cables or quad fit mesh engineered into the GT to help you with the lockdown, it is acceptable and good enough. But it doesn't exactly feel like being strapped tightly into the seat of a Formula One car. See, the Mercurial is a race car, get strapped in, go fast, hardcore speed. Whereas the Phantom GT is a bit more like the AMG C43 I'm in here. It's a bit more smooth and rounded and comfortable, but definitely still packs a punch and can get really loud and really mad when you need it to. And while the boot might not have quite 385 brake horsepower under the hood, the combination of this bladed and conical studs with really stiff and stable midfoot and the very flexible forefoot means that when you cut and rotate in the ground, the boot grabs and digs into the ground well, but without pulling or dragging too much. And with these aggressive, really powerful bladed studs, you also get that very responsive sensation when you push off. And that combination means that the GT is a very rounded outsole, and perhaps even more so than the Mercurial. But with all the Hypervenom 1 vibes this was giving off, I was looking forward to experiencing the touch. Basically, Nike engineered the so-called Generative Texture, which are tons of little silicone pills that have been placed all over the upper to optimize your touch for dribbling, shooting, and passing. And basically, it feels almost the same as the texture on the Phantom VSN2, but only wilder and bolder and almost enhancing your touch when you're on the ball. And in terms of aggressive texture on the ball, it's probably second only to the Predator Mutated 20, but with a more balanced and not so bulky in the waist sensation. And because it is a little less bulky than the Predator, the touch is also more on the barefoot side of things. And when you combine that with the low toe box, the clean striking surface, and that enhanced feeling of touch because of the grip, it makes the Phantom GT one of those really special, magical boots that just makes you feel more confident when you're on the ball, so you constantly want to demand it. And to give you an example of how good the grip is, I tried to do my elastico test that I always do, and here, the GT actually did an impressively big amount of the work, and I loved it. However, if I was to improve the GT, I would probably make it a little less wide, because I know I said that it fits nice and tight, and it does for most people. But if you're a guy like me and you have narrow feet, there is a little bit of extra room, especially on the medial side of the midfoot, and because the lockdown isn't mercurial-esque and strong enough to compensate for that, at times I felt a little bit too much volume and space inside the boot that my foot could move in, and I'm not particularly fond of that. But maybe it's just a problem I'm having.
However, even that doesn't leave too much of a sour taste, because the Phantom GT is one of those special boots that I reckon will be looked back on in 5 years as a bit of a classic.
Because it is just a great football boot and a very good alternative to the Vapor 13. And yes, the two boots might be somewhat similar, but I feel that the GT is a little bit more rounded, and in general, it's just so well made that it's something I expect people to just generally love, because somehow it feels like it's more than just the sum of its parts. And I'm not gonna lie, I really like the way it looks. And if you're with me and want to jump on the Phantom GT train, you can buy it right now via the link to unisportstore.com right over there. But not, of course, before you've told me what you think of the new GT in the comment section right down below, and make sure you've subscribed to the channel for more epic videos like this. And with that said, guys, I'm signing off. Cheerio.